To map your momentum. So this is the first of 4 workshops I'm doing with the Military Spouse Chamber, and I'm really, really excited to be here. And also feel free to drop in the chat where you're located, because it's always interesting to see where people join from. I am currently living in New Zealand. So today I am in the future. I am on Friday at 11 a.m. and it is a beautiful day. So hopefully that translates to your Friday, wherever you're at. But today we're going to look at building a 12-month roadmap that isn't just about what we can do in business. It's also how can we align what we want out of our life, the capacity that we have, and our business in a 12-month roadmap that gets us to where we want to go. So just a quick little intro from me. I am a self-professed planning nerd. I love to organize. I love to plan. I am somebody who loves lots of stationery, especially Japanese stationery. I'm a business strategist and consultant, so I work with a variety of businesses to help them create space in their business for new opportunities. So that could look like creating and simplifying your systems. It could be creating a business strategy. Maybe I need to consult over 6 months to help you achieve your goals. So it's wonderful, varied work that I love to do, both in person and online. If you're a cat person, you already get gold stars. I am in love with my cat Lola. I rescued her about a year and a half ago from the SPCA here, and she's my soulmate, and I love her so much. And of course, I am also a lover of small wins. That's what I named my company, the Small Wins Company, because I believe that the small wins really do lead us to our biggest breakthroughs. And I'm really, really excited to talk about building roadmaps today, but some of the things that have helped me realize how important roadmaps are is just my journey in general of helping over 700 businesses with their strategy, whether it be marketing, content, or business, uh, building courses to help students understand how to simplify their systems and content, and then also my journey of launching a new group program and how I had to build out a roadmap to incorporate that and make sure that I had the capacity to be able to launch a new group program when I wanted to, in a way that I wanted to. So today we're going to talk a little bit about not just what you want to do in your business, but also maybe kind of your mission. So, what is your mission for the next 12 months? And so, mine is to help business owners make way for new opportunities, like I said earlier, that align with your version of success. So, not, the business down the road or the ones that you compare yourself to on Instagram, or big entrepreneurs that you feel have it all. We're going to align it with what you think is success and also celebrate the small wins along the way. So, the things I want to talk about today are why business plans don't always work. I'm going to walk through my momentum map method to hopefully simplify the process of making sure everything that you're doing in life, creative process, business really work together. And we're going to reverse engineer the year and look at some time management tips and how to prioritize. That one's probably my favorite because we all have such wildly different schedules. And, like Candice said, she's moving to North Carolina. So there's just so much involved. And I can imagine being a military spouse and being part of that. Like, you just sometimes don't know how long you're going to be somewhere or where you're going to go. So we're going to look at some time management tips on how you can use your time wherever you're at, however much time you've got, and make it work for you. Okay, so let's dig in. I'll look in the questions sporadically, but Candice, feel free to like pop in or give me a thumbs up or something if there's some some big questions in there that you want me to answer. If not, I'll just answer them at the end. Um, but one of the things that I've seen over the last, I don't know, 17 years I've been doing marketing and strategy work is we have this idea that we need a business plan and we're going to stick to it and we're going to write this giant document and it's going to solve all of our problems. But in reality, we might have somebody write us a business plan or try it ourselves and we never implement it. Because one, it gets too big, it's a chunky piece of work. We actually don't know the next steps after writing out a business plan, what to prioritize. Um, and so we get stuck in our brain and it gets overwhelming. So that document that we created collects dust. So some of the things that I've seen as business owners have worked with me on strategies of looking at the business plans that they've created for themselves is that they're too vague or too rigid. So too vague is they don't really have a roadmap in place. It's just a whole bunch of tasks that they want to do or a whole bunch of things that they want to achieve, but nothing's really cohesive and nothing really speaks to their brand and their mission of what they want to do. The other thing is that they're too rigid. So, you have to get these things done at this particular part of the year. And if not, then we're going to be unsuccessful. And so you create this pressure straight away that's unrealistic and you can't actually make it happen. So when it becomes too rigid, people end up just again leaving that document and being reactive to their business now and not doing the work that's in that business plan. The other thing is that they don't account for real life capacity. So again, coming back, you might be moving several times or you don't know where you're moving. Things are up in the air and it's really hard to implement a business plan when there is zero account for real life capacity. You've got family, you've got possibly you have kids, animals, travel, you have a life. There's so much involved outside of our business. And when we are too rigid and don't have that buffer or safe space for us to be able to function, again, it creates this bubble of pressure that easily popped and we cannot move forward with this business plan. So again, comes back to that mindset of like, oh, I'll just leave it because I no longer can do this. And then the no built-in feedback loop. So what that means is you might have a business plan and it's great and it feels good and you're putting it into practice, but you're not taking the time to review the activities that you have implemented from your business plan. So you actually don't know if it's working or not. And if you've got a team and you're implementing new things, you know that feedback and data is crucial to making sure that everybody is enrolled in the business's goals and mission and making sure that, everybody understands how to measure that success. But if you have no feedback loop of understanding the data, understanding what you're actually doing, and if it's aligned with your goals and your business plan, then it's really easy to veer off onto another strategy. The shiny object syndrome happens like crazy in this area when you do not review and reflect on the work you're doing. So again, you might have a good business plan written down, but if you aren't building in opportunities for feedback, then you're blindly going into the future thinking that everything's okay. And the next one, like I said, it rarely gets implemented to its full extent. Business plans are a really great idea, but again, we overcomplicate it by making it either too big or too simplified, and then we don't know those next steps. So we are, usually at the beginning of the year, we're really, really confident and really excited to get started in our business and, new year, new me, new goals. And you get going for a few months and you feel really, really good. But then, you kind of just veer off or, things teeter out. And it's really hard to come back to that. It's really hard to circle back and figure out what went wrong in your business plan and get back into implementing it. So I am somebody that I have somewhat of a business strategy for my business, but I look at it more as a roadmap. So that's why I wanted to do this workshop as the first one today, is to really solidify where you want to go in not only just your business, but also your life and any other creative aspects, or maybe you have things you want to do with your family, maybe you want to start a new business, whatever it is. A 12-month roadmap is a really good visual for you to work with. And the best thing is you get to create it however you see fit. So it doesn't have to be a document. It can be a visual graph. It can be a Canva whiteboard. It could, if you work in Notion, you can make it into a Notion dashboard. If you just use Microsoft Office or Google Docs, you can do that as well. So again, it's however you want to create this 12-month roadmap that works for how your brain works.
I think that's one of the things that you really hit well with, Jen, is that you remind us that it doesn't have to look the same. And that is where we really fail ourselves, in the long run, is like trying to do it the way it doesn't resonate for us. So thank
Yeah.
you for mentioning that.
Yes, yes. Like you get to create and build your business how, again, it aligns with your version of success and how you work. The longer you are in business, the more and more you realize that a lot of the ways that people have built their business is not working for you. And I think everybody has to go through that process of, ooh, I like that business over there. I'm going to do what they're doing. And then you realize very quickly that it does not work for you, and it's not maybe aligned with your values or the capacity you have, or the offers you actually want to have in your business. So again, it's just being very aware of what you want and what you need, and how can your business help achieve that. So with the momentum map method, it's really hard to say. Should have thought of a different name. The triple M. I'll just say the triple M.
Well, I love it.
um, um, this is how I break down a roadmap very, very easily. And these steps help me so much when I get really overwhelmed with how much I want to do in my business. So I am super ambitious. I want to do everything. And for me, that means I have to simplify as much as possible, because if I don't, then my momentum map will be 50 different things in 2 months. So this helps me really understand the work and capacity that I have, the things that I want to do that align with my version of success, and how I can actually implement them. So the first step is your vision. So this is your North Star. This is the thing that you will look to every single time that you want to implement something in your business. So if you want to add a new offer, you want to hire somebody, you want to take on a collaboration, you want to create a free resource, you want to do all these different things, you go back and you say, does this align with my North Star and my vision of where I want to take my business and my life? It can be as simple as that. It does not need to be this massive document, this big manifesto, nothing like that. It is, what do you want to achieve? What is the mission that you have? And you can keep it to 12 months. You can keep it, you can make it for 5 years. You can make it for indefinitely, whatever you want. But let's just focus on the next 12 months. What is your mission and what is your vision for your business and your life? That's your North Star. So I write this, my North Star, everywhere. Like if you don't see it, you don't believe it, and you don't act on it. So my North Star is for this year is to commit to the follow through. So I am really, really good at brainstorming and making strategies and thinking of all of the things to make my business better, to help other people, create all the offers, this one man band that's just massive. However, I can't do that. And what happens is I get really excited at the beginning, and about halfway through, when it comes to the integration piece, I'm quite, half-assed, to to be honest. So again, using my North Star this year, I wanted to really understand what it is that I could do that feels really good, both in my business and my life. And so I'm committing to the follow through in anything that I say. So that could be, dates, weekly date nights with my boyfriend. That's making sure that I'm going on a 30-minute walk every day. That's making sure that I'm launching or building an offer every quarter. That is me saying, okay, I'm going to try something scary in my business and I'm going to commit to the follow through and do that. And I cannot tell you the difference in my business this year than last year by just focusing on that simple North Star. It has been an absolute game changer. So, first things first, build your North Star, build your vision of what you want to work on and where you want to go for the next 12 months in your life and business. Second is your offers. So, your offers are what bridge your vision to obviously making money. And those offers, again, need to be simplified and they need to make sure that they hit your best skills. It is something that lights you up and it is something that people need and are willing to pay money for. So your offers can look again however you want. This is like your choose your own adventure. And so you can have, if you're a consultant or you can have brick and mortar place. You can do whatever you want as far as how you build your offers. They can be in person, they can be online. Maybe it's a hybrid, maybe it's a community group program, however you want. But this is what bridges that vision. So your offers need to align with that vision as well. So for me, in order to be able to commit to the follow through, I had to build offers that lit me up, that used my best skills, and I knew that I would not fall off of advertising and talking and selling those offers because it's really easy to get excited and then just never talk about them. So, my offers to bridge my vision and make the income that I want, I needed to make sure that they were being delivered in a way that I love. So, for example, I have VIP days. So, we can map out a launch, an offer, or a client experience in a day. And so, for me, that delivers an offer in a way that excites me because I love short and sweet work. I love seeing instant results for my clients, and it's on topics that I'm really well versed in. So again, that hits so many of the points and the tick 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 of making an offer that will work with me committing to the follow through because I can commit to one day of work. I can commit to the client experience. I can commit to selling that offer. So again, for me, it's not a hard thing to do. There are very minimal, I would say, pushback or roadblocks for me to deliver this offer. So after you figure out those offers that are a bridge of your vision, then we look into the projects. So then now we've got our offers sorted. We're going to put those into projects as far as what work needs to be done in order for those offers to be live. So this is where it helps you progress your business and make sure that everything you're doing is aligned and we're not veering off. We're not having shiny object syndrome. We're not trying 500 different things. We're not wasting any time. Those projects in a project management tool, so you know all of the tasks and everything that needs to be done in order for your offers to go live. Then we move on to the time and systems. So the priorities-based schedule and organizing your back end. What I mean by priority-based schedule is looking at your projects, looking at your time, and seeing what is the most important thing that needs to be done to get that offer up and running. What do I need to, is it, creating a landing page? Is it creating content? Is it collaborating with another business owner? Is it getting your website updated? We're looking at priority-based scheduling as far as our calendar. So we look at priorities. We don't look at, okay, on Monday, we're going to do admin. On Tuesday, it's the priorities of the week or the month, however you want to do that. And that's how we schedule our time. So maybe you are wanting to launch your offer at the end of the week. So the work that you're doing across that week is the priorities based on that project. Um, However, you decide to manage that time in that schedule is up to you, but we're not looking at trying to fill your calendar with tons of tasks that aren't related, again, to that priority. And then with systems, it's organizing the back end of your business. So, how can systems be utilized to help do that work for you or help create better client experience for your offers? I look at systems not just as tools, but ways in which you can create the same result over and over and over again so that you're not having to do everything manually. So at the end of this framework, you can make decisions faster, you can implement your work without being overwhelmed and spinning out, and you get to build and progress, towards a business that you actually enjoy and fits your life. So it's not about doing more, it's about doing what's right. So I find this method just so easy to simplify how I run my business and what is priority and what to focus on, and everything else is just noise. We just block it out. It's white noise. We don't think of anything else. We got our blinders on. And this is what I use, and I focus on this method every quarter. So I go through this method every single quarter. And it's just been game changing because I don't feel like running and managing my business is overwhelming anymore because I'm super focused on, again, aligning everything I'm doing to my North Star of committing to the follow through.
Right. And Jen, I have a question for you. I think one of the things that I've noticed is that, especially if you're in the beginning of launching your business where you have the popcorn brain and you have 18,000 things, I don't know if you would agree, but I think it's really wise to think about the things that you have that are almost close to completion instead of like, you know what I mean? And I'll ask you this question for business owners that are in that stage, like, how do you from there prioritize those? Because it's like, I know so many people that have about, I don't know, five things that are about, 40%, 70%, and then there's that 90% thing. And
Mhm.
sometimes it's just a fear block that we're working through. But, how do you encourage people to really utilize what they already almost have finished so that they can then move on?
Yes, that is a really, really good question. A few ways. One is go back to your target audience and interview them. So if you've got a project that's 90% done,
Hmm.
you might have a mental block around, oh, what if nobody wants this? What if I don't sell? What if it's a failure? What if I don't make money? Go back to your target audience and interview them. Create polls, create surveys, send emails to your list, get on the phone, DM them, whatever it is. Do not take what your brain is telling you for fact. You need to go out and get the data to make informed decisions. I would never go on based on what my brain is telling me. We need to start making better decisions based on data and facts. And so we might have a project, so from that, you might call or DM or interview, say like 3 or 4 people that are your ideal person for that 90% done project. But you realize through those conversations that they are better, like my audience that I want to work with is better suited for my 20% project.
I love that.
Um, so it's again, that data could inform that, okay, the 90% project, what can I do to tweak it to make it go live and fit within the parameters of what my ideal target client needs? Or you could go, okay, well, they actually want the 20% one, and that gives you the motivation to actually get that one done.
I love
Because
that.
you're getting that validation from external perspectives of they want this and they need this and they're willing to pay for it. So there's two ways about it. You can take the 90% one and see if you can tweak it, but no matter what, go to the people who you think are going to buy and talk to them first.
Thank you. I think I see this often, so that's where it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, great answer. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, it happens all the time. I've done it a million times. Um, and, especially when you get excited about launching a new offer, and then you get hit with the self-sabotaging thoughts of nobody's going to buy this. It usually comes from you not doing enough validation work
Mhm.
of talking to your audience first. But yeah, never, I would 100%, yeah, repurpose or be resourceful with what you've already done before starting something new. Because that's a lot of energy, that's a lot of time. And when in reality, you probably have something that you've been working on that's going to make you money. And also, it's going to give you data. So if you put it out and a few people buy, don't just let them buy, talk to them, give feedback, and then, review and update or upgrade that offer. I had a workshop. So my VIP days actually were in-person workshop first. And I got so much good feedback as far as the offer and the messaging and what was included, but I actually didn't get anybody to book in that in-person workshop. What I realized after talking to all the ones that said they're interested is that I actually wanted somebody to just do the work for them in a quick way. So that's how my VIP days were born, is that the my ideal audience just wanted it delivered in a different format, and that format actually spoke to me even better than
That's
yeah. So just being open and aware that how we start something is not how we're going to end it. So yes. Okay, so now we've got the method of how we're going to simplify and implement that roadmap. Now we're going to reverse engineer your year. So again, we're taking that vision, that North Star. Let's use mine as a commit to the follow through. And then we're going to break it across quarters. I know this is a little bit, you can't really see this, but um, we're going to break our vision down into different quarters. So we're in quarter 2 now. What are the projects down here that you want to implement this year or this quarter? So I just put 2 projects. Maybe you have 3, one a month. But what projects do you actually want to work on in this quarter? And then I break down those projects into the months, and then I break them down into the tasks of the week. So that vision for me is commit to the follow through. This quarter, my projects, I have 2 projects. One is launching my new group program, and 2 is my Simplify Your Systems newsletter. So I'm working on those 2 things. I've launched the newsletter, but there's lots of refinement that needs to go on in that, lots of content and selling and talking about it. Whereas my launch for my program is a much meatier project. It's huge. So that takes up a lot more of my time, but I'm able to use the next 3 months to say, okay, what are the priorities for that launch project in April? What are the priorities in May? And what are the priorities to launch it in June? And then I go down to the weeks of that month. And that's where I put in the tasks that I need to do in order to achieve whatever that objective is for that month. So we go overarching to granular. So you can see over the year the projects that you want to work on, but also the objectives and then the tasks that are included in that. Now, you do not have to do all of this at once. So I do this as in I build my vision, and then I look at my quarters of what I want to launch or maybe big projects. Um, And then I kind of stop there. And then when I get into that quarter or right before that quarter starts, that's when I break down the months and the weeks. So I'm not trying to plan that entire year because, again, we have to leave room for flexibility, capacity, life. We might get more data. We might, understand after our research calls or interviews that we need to pivot a little bit. Things happen in life. You might not be able to launch something So again, I don't plan this all at once. I do the overarching bit so that I know that the work that I'm going to do within the quarters is aligned with my vision. And then I wait until I get into those quarters or right before the quarters to map out that quarter. So I map out the months and the weeks that are aligned with the projects, usually the week before that quarter starts. So I'm not overwhelming myself with trying to plan out a year. I am making sure that, again, I have the capacity to give my brain the space to be a CEO and come from a business strategic approach, not a day-to-day employee doing tasks approach. And so when I give myself that space to look at business development and the strategic side, it's just so much more clear. Whereas if I was to try to do this whole year, my brain would explode. So again, learning how your brain works and how your energy works and figuring out best ways to build your business, do it that way. So I don't do everything all at once. I couldn't do it. Right.
And Jen, first, Michelle, I love what you're working on. She has a question, and I may
Yeah.
have somebody to connect you with. So she's a nonprofit raising funds to build a suicide prevention cell phone app. Would her projects be different fundraising avenues like grants, events, etc.? Not to workshop the whole thing, but like overarching when you're thinking about that, what are those buckets, I guess we could say?
I would say for her project, it would be like figure out, does she have a end date of when she wants it to go live?
Michelle, feel free to
Yeah.
unmute if you want to. Yeah.
As soon as we get the $20,000 we need,
Okay. Okay. So your
it's
goal,
going to take 3 months to develop, and we're
okay.
really pushing to get it done this year.
Yep. Okay. So I would focus on, yes, like buckets. So maybe it's the fundraising bit, the launching bit, the build bit. So I would do it kind of by action. Um, so fundraising is one project, build launching is another project, building is another project. Um, and then focusing, if you've got, it takes, sorry, how long did you say it takes? 3 months to build or 3 months to?
3 months of development
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
do the developing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if that's what I would do is that first bit is all fundraising. And so you don't have to have more than one project per quarter. You can just have the one.
Right.
So if right now fundraising is the absolute top priority to make this happen, that's your project for the quarter. Because building takes 3 months, that's also another quarter. And then you take another one of building all the launch materials and content and marketing strategy and collaborations and partnerships. That's another quarter. So, because that stuff takes a lot longer than people imagine, especially when you want to do it right and this with something that's as important as this. You don't want to cut corners. So I would focus, yes, one project per quarter for you.
Yeah. And even I
Thank you
think,
so much.
yeah,
Yeah, no
and
worries.
I think too, like during the fundraising efforts, you'll start seeing those collaboration
Yep.
opportunities.
Yep.
But yeah, I think
Mhm.
I agree, Jen, 100,000%. So
Yeah. This and also a good thing to remember is we love to go big or overwhelm ourselves immediately with all we've got to do. And it's just simplifying of what's the priority. And you don't have to have more than one project per quarter. You don't even have to have more than one project per half year. Like if your stuff is big and meaty and lots of things going on, then that's your 6 months or maybe, and then you break that down into sections of that project. So I think it's a really good idea to, yeah, focus on the funding first, then the launch, and or you could actually the build and launch, um, which is super exciting and very, very much needed. So looking forward to hearing more about that app. Yeah, okay. So after we reverse engineer a year, I did put out a little extra, oops, what just happened? A little exercise. Um, if anybody wants to do it right now, or if you've been taking notes, is just to write out real quick, what do you think your vision or mission for your business and life is for the next year? And what part of that vision can you work on in Q2? So what are some of the offers and projects? And then maybe just jot down really quick some of the tasks or objectives that are coming to mind that you could work on over the next few months. And that this doesn't have to be pretty and it doesn't have to be in order. It's just getting the ideas and things out of your head and down on paper so that it's easier for you to organize later on. Um, and one thing that I notice, I do a lot of workshops and a lot of trainings is, just taking time to actually do some practical work, even if it's, 90 seconds, it's 2 minutes. It's just getting you out of the learning brain and into the working brain. Um, so just making sure that you are retaining the information that's here. So maybe if you want to share in the chat your vision or your offers or maybe a project you want to work on, I would absolutely love to read some. You don't have to, but I really enjoy seeing what people are doing. And thank you, Candice, for being in the chat.
Yeah. Well, and
Yeah.
also I have a question because I was like jotting down stuff because I already kind of have this mapped out. However, when you're saying offers versus projects, are they going to simultaneously maybe even be labeled the same? Because like my brain's like, oh, it has to be labeled different. Because like in the last quarter, I'm doing retreats and I've already got like all the like material, like I'm already almost booked for it. And so I'm like, okay, how do I label that project? Is it just going to be the same? Or,
You can. Yeah, yeah, you can.
well, it sounds
You
like a
can.
silly question, but I was like,
No,
brain's like, you can't do that.
no, no, you can absolutely name it the same. It's just, again, like what works best for your brain and
Yeah.
how you're going to organize things to, because I think, well, yeah, we get caught up in like, how do I name stuff or what does everybody else use? What is the terminology that's normal for my business industry or business in general? I honestly name things sometimes. Like I think building a naming convention in general for how you organize stuff is super important. I think it's one of the foundations we miss is how am I going to name my files, my projects, my photos, my free resources, my PDFs. How am I going to name things so that it's easy to find and it works for my brain? So sometimes how I name things is project name first and then what it is so that it's very easy to search for. Sometimes it's client name first and then whatever that resource is. And I think, yeah, figuring out a naming convention that works for your brain is going to save you so much time in understanding where that work is, but also where to not just find things, but you're like, oh, okay, that's where my notes are. That's where all my documents are. Oh,
Yeah.
that project, I know exactly what I need to do. So again, we're eliminating a lot of busy work and a lot of context switching.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a whole master class on its
Yeah.
own, I think,
Yeah.
because naming conventions is like a whole thing. I love it, Mich. Oh, we have a couple of people putting in there.
Yay.
I love it. Jen, can you see them or do you want me to read them? I'm totally
Nope,
fine.
I've got them. I've got
Okay.
them.
I think these
I
are
love
really
it.
amazing.
Grow connections. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Bike night. Oh, I wish I was there. I'd go to this Yes, I love it. I love bike night. Launch a high quality bookkeeping service. Yes. Certifications. Yes, I love it. Oh, I love that, Deb. That is very much in line. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
and Deb, I have someone that I can connect you with too, and Michelle, I both, sometimes that's the biggest thing whenever I've noticed in networking is when you don't ask, people can't help you. And
Yep.
like feel like there's a few of us in this group that are very much human Rolodexes. So if
Yes.
once you put that out there, then it gives the opportunity to be like, oh, I know somebody who might be able to guide you on X, Y, and Z.
Mm.
Um, And I'll make sure to follow up with both of you. If you're on LinkedIn and you're okay to share that stuff, that'd be great.
Absolutely.
Um,
It's
but yeah,
so important to reach out, especially if you are, yeah,
yes.
getting to a business. Like I'm just reminded myself every single day. I just did a massive video and photo shoot yesterday for my launch. First time I've ever done something of this scale. And I asked so many people for help. I asked so many people for props, being an assistant, helping figure out different things, my branding, like everything. And it wouldn't be what it is without asking. And they knew people as well. So it's like, I can't, but I know this person. So again, it's just really important for us to kind of just get over ourselves and ask for what we want, because the end result is going to be so much better than if we try to do it all ourselves.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Awesome. Okay, right. I'm going to jump back in. Um, okay. Any brainstorming questions? If you feel stuck narrowing down vision, if you're at the very beginning, starting something new. Yes. So I just launched a freebie called Beyond the Brainstorm. So it's helping you to take action on your best ideas. So one of the questions is like, what is your why? So what makes you tick? What do you want to achieve? What feels good? What is Crystal, what is your business? If you don't mind sharing.
Sorry, I was looking for my unmute.
Sure, fine.
So actually, this sounds terrible. I don't know. Right now, I've been
Okay.
doing photography, but I'm moving from Japan to the US. So I am in as much of an influx as possible.
Yeah.
And I've done some business coaching here. I started a small organization here. I have dabbled like crazy. But the opportunities here have been very limited. So I'm looking more towards going to the States, having more opportunities. I have a lot of ideas, but I think it's like narrowing down what idea is going to actually make sense to be the foundation of a business. And then, kind of taking it, but then also trying to do that while absolutely everything is going to change in the next 3 months is a little bit a lot. So, I think that's where I'm like, okay, I have a lot of ideas, but like I'm not entirely sure which direction to go because it's all crazy right now.
Yeah, I can't imagine. But also Japan's amazing. Oh, I love it.
I
Okay,
will also
so
say Japan is great. So if you love
yeah,
Japan, Japan is fantastic. I highly recommend. So
yeah, it's amazing. Oh, I can't wait to get back one day. I would say one is just like take a deep breath, because you are doing so much right now of just moving. That takes up a lot of brain space. Two is, how can you blend the best parts of the businesses and stuff that you've done? So the photography, the business coaching, is there something there that lights you up? Like, could you be a business coach for photographers? Do you want to be more tangible? Do you want to take the photos? Are you looking at how your best skills? Are you a teacher? Are you um, a mentor? Do you like to create learning materials for people? Do you like to be in the moment with people? I think we get stuck on, yes, we've got lots and lots of ideas, but we have to kind of brain dump those like all together. So I'm gonna send everybody my free resource, because the first step is brain dumping, but then focusing and choosing. So allowing yourself, again, maybe my North Star is yours, commit to the follow through of being able to choose your top three. And the thing is not one is going to be a wrong answer, because once you choose, that's what you commit to. And as a as you've done work and business, you already know that things change. So what you start your business with is not how you're going to continue with, years down the road. I started social media management and then marketing strategy, and then I owned a marketing agency for a bit, and then I did business coaching, and now I'm doing like operations consulting. So I would say take the pressure off of getting the first idea right and just start to get more validation and action done. And these can be the tiniest of steps. That could be focusing on, you know, maybe writing a few pieces of content to see if that's something that feels good. So maybe you just say, I'm going to do photography wherever you're going to live. Crystal, where are you moving to in the States?
Colorado.
Oh, so that's like a perfect photography.
Yeah.
So maybe it's doing some research. Maybe it's joining communities for entrepreneurs. Maybe it's taking the first step is not necessarily the idea. It's more along the lines of investigating your best skills a little bit more.
Yeah.
So
And something to add too is that, so just for an example, last PCS, we were in Virginia and I had this like thriving in-person business. I was so networked, like all the things. And I moved out to California where I assumed it was going to be the same. And it was like totally the opposite. My business went from 100% in-person clients to all virtual. And like to piggyback off of what Jennifer was saying is like, it is taking that pressure off and just remembering that like everything comes into place as it's meant to be. And so everything that you built and gained in Japan is only going to help you here because you've already established it there. And like leaving what was familiar is always our challenge anyway. Like as we move all the time, it's like, okay, what am I going to do next? But like Jen was saying is like being able to blend those different things and giving yourself the knowing that like Jen was saying is like we evolve as our businesses grow and like even for myself, like how I work with clients 3 years ago is so different than what I do now. So and that's the beauty in it. Like we're human, like we're meant to grow and expand. So anyways, just wanted to encourage you a little bit because I kind of understand from my own perspective of like having all these really great things built in one location and then you're going to a completely vast unknown all over again. So
Thank
sure.
you guys. I appreciate it.
you're welcome.
And don't be afraid to just experiment. Like experimenting is so important in life and in business, particularly in business. Because if we don't experiment, we don't, again, get data, we can't reflect and analyze what works best for us. So maybe you go to Colorado and maybe you decide to, give a few free photography sessions and you're like, you know what? I actually don't want to do photos. I want to teach photographers different styles. You're going to learn by doing the action. So yes, just don't focus on what needs to happen now. Focus on what feels good. And then just what is the smallest piece of action you can take to do that. Maybe it's just right now research because you're moving in 3 months and connecting to a community. But yes, also safe travels, all the best. Colorado's stunning. All right, let's move on. So we just got two more things to look over. Jumping into time management, I know this is such a hurdle for every single person in general. But one thing I wanted to speak on for time management for business owners is understanding that there are several ways to manage your time. And again, I know that we do have some very rigid boundaries in certain aspects, especially if you have kids, you have to get kids to school at a time, maybe they're into sports. You've got, activities and non-negotiables. But when it comes to your business, there are ways in which you can use your energy and time to the best of your ability. So one of the ways is like energy-based planning. So when is your best time to do specific things in your business? Uh, and that is so much more important than the productivity pressure of getting everything done in a specific time. So what I mean by energy-based planning is for me, I am rubbish by the end of the week for client work. I am very, very creative towards the end of the week. My energy might be a little bit lower, but I know Friday, Saturday, Sunday, those are my really creative times. So I am good at creating content, creating graphics, that type of work is based on the energy that I have, and it's usually creative energy. Towards the beginning of the week, I use that as my CEO business development planning aspect because that's when my brain is at full capacity. And I am one of those people that is so excited for the beginning of the week. So I know that my best work to be done is making sure that I am prioritizing the right work. And again, it's aligned with my North Star. Client work is in the middle. And so I kind of, bookend my week with work for my business. So I used to be like, okay, I have to work every single day across 50 different things in my business and my clients. And what ended up happening was I context switched way too much. So I'd be doing an hour for my business and then an hour trying to do admin and then do 2 hours creative and then have client sessions and then do trainings. And that was just such chaotic energy and it drained me so much. I just even thinking about how I used to work is just wild because it was just so unproductive. Even though I got a lot done, it didn't feel that way because I was just so exhausted and I couldn't enjoy the end of my week and I couldn't enjoy the weekend. I just slept and, didn't do much. And that's not a life, I wanted to be able to enjoy my days off. So what I ended up doing is looking at, yeah, where's my energy placed in throughout the week? And how can I use that to an advantage of doing the work that I need to do in my business and for my clients? So some of the ways that you can do that as well is like, do you have themes? So for me, Mondays is like no call Mondays, and that's my CEO day. Uh, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays are my client VIP days, my client project work, and yeah, anything that realistically has to do with my offers. And then Friday is usually my learning and creative day, so I'm always, doing at least a half hour of a course I'm in or a certification I'm doing, and it helps me use my brain in a different way. And again, it's like usually it's a no call day as far as client work goes, so I can utilize my brain elsewhere. And then Saturdays are my really, really creative day, and that's when I do content. Not the whole day, so it's just maybe an hour or two. And then Sunday nights, I plan my entire week. So I am a huge advocate for work-life blending, not balance, because it's impossible. And this fits really well into my energy. The other thing you can do is batch by project. So maybe, we can look at funding projects. So maybe you're looking at calling partners or collaborators on Mondays. Tuesdays is, website updates. Wednesdays are whatever. You can theme it by the project if you want or your offer. And again, you can time block. So if you work better in, I need to do admin over 3 hours at a certain day, maybe you do a time block. Like this calendar example, this is a little bit of time blocking, but it also is how I place my energy throughout the week. And how I do that is I've created a system called the Perfect Work Week. And what I do with the perfect work week is I organize my time into areas. So that's CEO time, business task time, learning, life, and self-care time. So when I do this, this makes it so much easier for me to plan out my entire week, knowing that I've designated times to every aspect of my life and my needs. So not again, this might look like, oh, this is really, really rigid. It's actually not. It just helps me create guardrails for my week and making sure that I am planning and organizing the allotted time that I've got for the priorities that are needed. So, for example, I always plan my self-care time first. So that is my 30-minute walks a day. That is my gym time. And that is, my, if I like to read, sometimes I put, reading 3 times a week. That plots into my calendar first. Those are non-negotiables. My self-care is non-negotiable. So I put those into my calendar first. And then I look at my business, my CEO time. So again, like I said, I plot that in on Mondays. And I look at, okay, what are my life's activities? Do I have to go, are we having dinner with my partner's mom that week? Are we having friends over for dinner? Are we going to an event? Plot that in. And then I look at the rest of the time that I have available for the tasks that I need to get done. And then I plot my learning time. So I'll just go back to this. So once I'm done, it looks somewhat like this. So as you can see, it's not a full calendar. I have space that's flexible in case, things go awry, which they normally do. And I don't feel pressured that every single aspect of my life is planned to the point where I can't move things around or I can't have a life and that's not planned. So for me, this just is such a game changer in feeling like I am somewhat in control of my time, but I know that it's matched my energy where I work best. It is aligned with my North Star because I'm getting the work done. I'm feeling better about myself, and I have time to commit to the follow through with my relationship, my family. And again, it's not a full schedule so that if new opportunities do come up that are aligned with what I'm trying to do, I can pencil those in. And so it's a really good way to make sure that you get what you need done. Your non-negotiables are in there and you are setting boundaries. You're setting boundaries for your time, but also for your business and your life. And it's very, very easy to just do whatever and be as chaotic as hell when we don't look at how we can manage our time that works best for us. And so this is probably one of my favorite things I've ever created because it just allows you to, again, choose your own adventure. It allows you to put things, a puzzle together for your life. And again, testing. So if you build your own perfect work week and you test it out for a few weeks and you're like, wow, this doesn't work for me. Some of it does, I've got my self-care in and my lifetime, but I notice that my business tasks keep going over. So maybe you need to switch up where you work, put those business task times. But it's just a really good way to again experiment with the time that you've got, align it with the priorities of the work you need to do, but also have a life. And also I will be providing a perfect work week guide for you as a free resource. So I'll talk about that in a second. Last thing here is prioritization. So now that we've got all of, our time sorted, we're like, well, what do we actually prioritize? As we get to the work week and we're like, what am I doing? I've worked out kind of like 3 things that you can do. One is narrow down your ideas again per quarter to 3 maximum. It can just be one, like we talked about earlier. It can be one, but no more than three. You just end up doing half of a project. You end up making it so easy to have shiny object syndrome, so easy to just doom scroll because you're now moving yourself into it's too hard. Three questions to ask yourself when you're prioritizing your work is what can you delay, drop, or delegate? So again, once you've built out, say, your quarter roadmap of your projects, and then you look at where that work is going in those months and tasks involved, before you start to work, what can you drop? What can be deleted? What can you delay if it's not a priority? And, what can you delegate? So you don't have to always do everything yourself. And if you do have the funds and income to delegate and outsource, it is 100% an important aspect of being able to move your business forward. And then 3 systems. So what 3 systems can help simplify your work? And that they don't have to be massive. Maybe you build like the perfect work week is a time system. Your method is realistically a planning system. So what 3 systems can help simplify your work? They don't necessarily have to be digital tools. They can be ways in which you work that create consistent results. So how can you prioritize your ideas? And then how can you prioritize your work or delegate that work? And then how can you prioritize systematizing that work? Because ultimately, we are trying to eliminate as much manual work as possible as we build our businesses so that you free up that time to create space for business development, for new opportunities, maybe, more time with your family or yourself. But either way, we're eliminating that manual work so that you've got space to breathe.
And just to chime in, Jen's going to do a whole class about systems and different types of systems. And like one of the things I really appreciated in our, initial call together was just like remembering that if you're trying to switch to a system you're not going to use, that it's only creating more work for you. And so that's why she's going to go through these different ones and kind of show you the ins and outs so that you can make that, decision based on, again, how she's already said, like your brain works and operates. And I'm excited for that. So.
Yeah. Yes. So I hope today was super helpful for all of you and for those who watch the replay. So some of the things I am going to give you 2 free resources. So I'll give this to Candice and Jennifer to send out to everybody. The free resource that we talked about, that perfect work week guide. So it's just a document that helps you build out your areas of time and your perfect work week. I will also send over a link to sign up for that free resource, the Beyond the Brainstorm. So it helps you, it's 5 guided prompts to help you take your best idea and bring it to life. If you do want to work with me in a one-on-one capacity, I do have 60-minute strategy sessions. So if you want to work on your roadmap, your strategy, your goals, anything in business, we do a 60-minute intensive and it's really fun. We get so much work done. And then my 6-month program. So this is for business owners and service providers who are ready to develop that next chapter of business and need that custom roadmap, simplifying your systems, optimizing everything so you can create that space